not going to debate that. And you've also been a member of the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. That was since last year, 1 April 2025, and a member of the Police Portfolio Committee, also for a long time, since 2006, save for a brief dalliance, is it, with the Public Works Committee from 2015 to 2017, and you also serve on this committee as an alternate member. Just before we proceed, as a member of the Police Portfolio Committee, just your general sense of what's unfolded since you've been sitting on this honorable committee and heard a lot of evidence. We're not going to debate technically what evidence means, but certainly information given to the committee via witnesses, live witnesses, written submissions.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I've seen this roll out over and over and over again. Certainly I and committee members, all the MPs here, many of them, have raised issues of the looting of state funds, misuse, misappropriation, of purchasing things worth nothing for a fortune and then pocketing the difference. We've done this, all of us, for many, many, many years. Certainly we saw it with the 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐤𝐫 years and the mass looting there, and he will be in court soon about those mass abuse. It's just extraordinary, the charges he will face. So this has gone on year after year since I've been in Parliament, that sort of criminality, the use, misuse of hidden funds. And we've seen also those, for example, who tried to hold Mr. 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐤𝐫 to account. Oddly enough, we had Lieutenant General 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿 try to get rid of him when he was the acting National Police Commissioner. Glynis Breitenbach in the NPA did her best. They forced the withdrawal of that case, so she walked out. I was under attack, all of us, anyone who was having a go was under attack. And it took a very long time to hold people to account for that. I've seen suspensions of people, for example, Robert McBride, Dr. Dintwe of the Joint Standing Committee, now the latest IG, all suspended the moment they come out with information about criminality. Usually they get back in after a court case, they're found innocent, but it seems to be the knee-jerk reaction when one raises any information about possible criminality within the system.
When you raise them in Parliament, in committee?
Yes, I raise it everywhere I possibly can. And sometimes I feel I'm successful, other times I feel like I'm pushing a boulder uphill. So it can be very enervating to have to do this time after time, year after year, where you are saying, but I'm seeing money being stolen, misused, and you have millions in irregular expenditure. No one's ever held to account, ever, ever, ever. People are not fired, people are not gotten rid of, because people are making a fortune out of all of the departments.
So one of the aspects of the terms of reference of this honourable committee is to advise, make recommendations to the National Assembly on how one restores trust in the system, in the criminal justice system, and more particularly in the police. And one would think that the Portfolio Committee and other committees like 𝐬𝐮𝐞𝐭 would be entirely the appropriate place to raise these things, because you, and we are reminded of this daily by this committee, that you're there to represent the public, members of the public, because we know from various witnesses that have actually appeared this week, they've lodged complaints through the formal channels available to them, and they get no joy.
it's going to be extremely difficult to regain the trust of the citizenry because of what has gone on, what has been revealed. As I say, this is not new. Much of what has been revealed has been going on for years, and many of us have been raising it for years with no response. And the frustrations that we heard about yesterday, where members have taken, they've done all the right things, and most of them do. They go through the channels, they raise it with the correct people, and a blind eye is turned. So yes, I think, I mean, at one stage, I just said, fire everybody and start again. Vet them again, make sure they haven't been looting. But it's very hard to work out where exactly South Africa turns now, because while you have literally thousands of fantastic police officers who will take a bullet for you, you have that core element who are just there to loot. And it is heartbreaking to see, because you have police working in police stations with virtually no resources. I went in Wentworth the other day in 𝐬𝐻𝐿𝐫𝐤. The ceilings had fallen in, and the detectives division, 6 of the officers were shot, and one man said he sat with bird lice falling on his head while he worked. Appalling conditions, and yet the money's being looted hand and fist, and it's very destabilizing for those inside who want to do the right thing.
And so, since you also now serve on the Intelligence Committee, the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence, is that perspective of yours, has it gotten worse? Has it been confirmed now that you know things that all of us who don't know or haven't heard of, or haven't seen?
Sometimes I hear things that are very distressing, but of course what you hear there stays there, and for very good reasons. But my years on the Police Portfolio Committee have given me a very clear mandate, to my mind, that I'm there to unearth corruption and reveal it wherever I can. The Joint Standing Committee is a very strange committee in that you take nothing in, you take nothing out. You never stroll out with some classified documents. It's impossible. It cannot happen. It's very tightly curated. So what goes there and the information given there stays there, and for very good reasons in many instances. So yes, sometimes it's what you hear, and thankfully one does hear the progress that's being made, and that's very heartening. But of course it must stay in that committee.
And you also enjoy top security clearance as a member of that committee?
I don't enjoy it, but yes, I went through the process.
Technical term. Sometimes it's used in another context. Anyway, but we've heard evidence here, and there was a bit of a difference of view. There was a witness here yesterday who, subject to him applying for permission from the DG to appear, because he served in the State Security Agency. But we've heard evidence here selectively from crime intelligence, about crime intelligence. I'm not sure whether you were present when Mr. Hlongwane gave evidence, and it was extraordinary. He actually didn't get security clearance. He apparently went through all the hoops and hurdles, but then what eventually wasn't. But he controlled that secret account. Remember that his evidence was in relation to when he was approached for the grabber. And he's also, well, not quite implicated, but he's also involved in another matter against Mr. General Pashlani, where he did, well, he says he didn't authorize the tender, but he was asked whether there's sufficient funds, and he said yes, that's what he did. But anyway, that's the kind of, I'm just contextualizing the very important role that he played, but yet, one, he didn't have security clearance, and two, we hear this from him and other witnesses.
The vetting, the clearance, has been a massive issue for as long as I've been here. When I've finally convinced the powers that be that there should be, for example, lifestyle audits on all the top structures, many of them just refused and walked off. Many of them won't do vetting. They simply walk off, and there's zero control. But in crime intelligence, it's the same. There's a backlog. They don't have sufficient people to carry it out. And it's a huge issue when you have people dealing with classified information with no clearance. Because I often think, what if a matter goes to court and they find that the evidence you've given was obtained by someone who doesn't have the right to see that information? It's a whole morass that they bring upon themselves because the system isn't working.
Now, how is this committee, or obviously it will be your opinion, your viewpoint, and your other honorable colleagues will have theirs, but so much, it seems to be from the evidence in summary that the fight, as it were, in SAPS is control of crime intelligence and that secret account,
yes,
for covert activities, because although there's some kind of accountability, and especially when you start paying, you have to pay informers in cash and all that, and you like go to account and you get a wad of notes, maybe in a Woolies bag, I don't know, but you get this money, and that's where the accountability gets very fuzzy and hazy and it amounts to millions. So we hear this. It's about crime intelligence and it's about procurement. That's coming from either side. You know, if you view the witnesses either being on this side or that side.
Those are exactly the 2 points where the major looting happens. Procurement, and I think that applies frankly in any department. Procurement and buying bottles of water and paying 100 Rand each, and you pocket the difference. That's on a very basic level, but it comes to buildings. Standard procedure is if you have a building worth 100 million, the lawyers and people go in there, the architect and the powers that be will say, okay, so it's 120 million. No, look, the papers say 100. And they say, do you want to work again? So they keep quiet. And the 20 million extra is distributed. And that's standard procedure I fear, in many of the departments. And certainly in the SAPS, there are major issues along that line. Procurement is one of the biggest ones. Certainly the slush fund is a huge problem. Looking globally, it's often handled differently to the way it is handled here. Everyone has that sort of slush fund in terms of where it's needed, crime intelligence, etc. But certainly the handling of it has been extremely difficult. And anyone who has tried to control it, to get it under control, is soon booted out. I've seen it happen over and over and over.
So just related to that issue, I wasn't going to ask it, but does that not go to SCOPA? Does it stay? I'm not asking you for any details.
Yes, it goes nowhere. It goes to the Joint Standing Committee. But if one recalls, the high-level review panel report that came out in 2018 was released by the president.
Yeah, that was also served before the Zondo Commission.
Yes, way before, 2018.
It is a public document.
It is a public document, and I studied it very carefully, and it lambasted the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence in the 5th term, the 5th Parliament, because state capture happened under their noses and they knew nothing. They were told nothing. And for them to hear what had actually gone on later was a huge shock to them. They did what they thought was the right thing, but it was all hidden away. So finding and tracking down the hidden funds, the hidden amounts that are being stolen is an extraordinarily difficult job. And because there's no oversight by the scopers, etc., how does one do it?
Because I think with respect, I think the Honourable Committee, we've done pretty or reasonably well in relation to procurement and identifying what the problems are, the blockages, and how the manipulation of the system takes place and how it works. And some of those cases are actually before the courts. We know that, and I think my colleague, Advocate Tsikalala, did a pretty good job when she led the witness, I think Fani, in relation to the procurement and the system, and he had to concede at the end of the day that there were big problems and gaps. But how do we do that in relation to crime intelligence when we have witnesses sitting where you're sitting and saying, sorry, I can't disclose this because the information is classified, it's confidential, but it impacts directly on our terms of reference?
It falls down to two structures. That would be the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, who can only do what they can only interrogate what they're given. So what's hidden away, we can never find. But the Inspector General of Intelligence has the ability to demand any information. That is the level of his clearance. And we've had wonderful Inspectors General of Intelligence. Previously Dr. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐿𝐻𝐿, but he was of course suspended for a while and then put back. We have the current one who has just also been suspended right after he'd finished his report into this matter. So they do the best that they can, and I think they're on the whole honourable, honest people. But of course, the forces against them are inordinate. But they are the ones who are supposed to unearth what is happening at that level.
Did the now suspended Inspector General, did he appear before the committee?
Frequently.
Did he appear just before or after he was suspended?
I saw him before.
Do you know the reasons? I obviously don't want to get into the detail. Do you know what the reasons are for his suspension?
I do.
And has the committee inquired into it?
I can't speak about what goes on in the committee. It's not up to me to say that.
I didn't mean to get any detail because I don't know. I asked for copies of a report that appeared on News 24 on the 29th of January. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I think you got it. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know 𝐬𝐲𝐿 at all?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
This report is obviously embargoed and should not have, but it was leaked clearly.
Clearly, it's been in many newspapers.
So is this the report that you've seen?
I'm not going to confirm that. Not my job to do that.
That seems a rhetorical question almost, but anyway. Now this report, if it is indeed the original or a copy of the original of the report, contains some really serious allegations, charges on the part of the suspended IGI. Do you agree?
Indeed, it does.
I mean, I'm just talking about
What's in
this
that?
proper,
Yes,
what's in
indeed.
here. And it also references some, in fact, the page references, but there's a paragraph which says the Secret Service account has been abused without reference to this report. He refers to, or the report refers to, years of chronic underspending of secret funds allocated to CA resulted in a large pot of money being rolled over to the 2024-25 financial year, granted permission by National Treasury. So, members of the public, they've read this report, I think for pretty obvious reasons. There hasn't been any official response from your committee or the chair of your committee or Parliament or from anyone in crime intelligence. So these allegations, they linger in the minds of the public, and they tend after, if there's no official rebuttal or confirmation, then it sticks in the public mind. And the problem, what I want to get at or get to is, these allegations are disturbing.
Extremely disturbing. I was concerned that the previous Minister of Police, when questioned about the only two properties that I knew of at that stage, said it was under investigation and that report will be available to all in due course. He said that in Parliament. So it's a pity it hasn't been released, but obviously it's being leaked somewhere.
Okay, Honorable Kohler Barnard.
So.
May we take Honorable Matthys?
Thank you, Chair. Can Senior Counsel please guide us on which pages and which part of the statement we are on as we go through?
So yeah, so Honorable Matthys, unfortunately, the document was just printed a short while ago, but it's not paginated. Maybe let me just one, two. Sorry? Are you looking for the document? It's a hard copy. It's a News 24 article. I thought you had all received it. Sorry. It's yeah, but is it the page or the article? It's on, if you count the pages, page 6, where I made reference to the Secret Services account. Yeah, they're not numbered.
Yeah, we've got documents and the pages are not numbered. What must happen? Because we can't follow the testimony.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. If we can just get some assistance, just count the pages, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On page 6, or the 6th page of this document, that's where I made the first reference to the Secret Services account. 7, 8, and then page 8 of the document, where I also made reference to the Secret Service account and the chronic underspending. And then I want to refer to page 10 of the document, So there are 12 pages. Can you just number them? Can you get another copy? I want to. Have you got it there, Ms. Kohler Barnard?
I beg your pardon. This is of the document you've just circulated,
yes.
correct? Okay. Yes, I have it here in front of me.
So on page 10 of this document, there's a paragraph at the bottom. Have you got it? 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, that's a reference to General 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, previously told Parliament that the leasing deals were rife with corruption, with a number of deals linked to family members of CI officers, but he has not made public any corroborating evidence or any CI officers being charged or arrested for corruption. You see that?
Yes.
Can you confirm that?
I don't think so, no.
Or was it not you've also served on the portfolio committee of police?
Yes, indeed.
Was it not your experience while you were in that committee?
The budget is divided into two. One section covers the secret account and the rest is open to the public and would be in a committee such as this to be interrogated.
Yeah. So as you know, and as the public is aware, a major figure in this inquiry and at the Matlanga inquiry has been Major General Khumalo, and also in his capacity as the leader, the coordinator of the PKTT, which is almost at the heart of this inquiry. And the report indicates, if true, that the suspended IG had made scathing findings against senior police officials, including Major General Dumisani Khumalo. I'm not going to ask you to confirm that, obviously, but if true, that's of major concern.
If true, it absolutely is, and would possibly explain a great deal about why he has been suspended.
Okay. Yeah. You might be relieved that I'm going to move off this report, but I'm sure some of your colleagues might ask you some questions later, because obviously it's near impossible to interrogate the report with you serving on the Intelligence Committee. The allegations made by General Nkwanazi on the 6th of July and the allegation that the criminal justice system has been corrupted, has been infiltrated. Were those allegations new to you? Were you startled? Were you surprised? Or was it, or rather, let me ask you, what is your view on it?
I think there have been rumors for some time. People get irritated that their cases take so long to come to court. Perhaps the backlogs in the courts are an issue, but the very fact that, as you just said, there are certain people in court as we speak, having been charged for abuses of funds, is a very positive step. I got very frustrated with the outcome of the Zondo Commission, in which we heard about certain people walking out of state security areas and others with suitcase loads of money. And still, I kept saying, where's the action? When is something going to happen? When's somebody going to be held to account? But I think finally, and we all know the wheels of justice grind so incredibly slowly, finally people are starting to be held to account. So I think that's a positive turn, but to label all the entire judicial system to be a problem, I think is in itself problematic. Pick up the specific issues and deal with them. But to just damn every judge, every magistrate, everybody involved, I think was excessive.
Yeah, I mean, to date, we know about the allegation that has come forward at Matlanga, and we also heard from a witness, I think it's, yes, actually, Mr. Mhlongwane also mentioned a sitting judge and an acting judge, and disclosed the names. But thus far, we haven't heard the names of any magistrates or judges and so on.
Indeed.
So what does that mean? Is it irresponsible to make these? Because one of the things that our country is actually praised and well known for is its judiciary.
Chair, sorry, in the absence of the chairperson, I don't know what must happen, but senior counsel, you are still not telling us which page you're on. Oh, okay. Honorable.
Okay, I think the senior
Acting
counsel,
Chair,
because
we don't know. We don't understand where we are on, which page we are on. So senior counsel, I'm begging you, please say on paragraph what are we here on paragraph what, so we can follow exactly which part of the statement we are dealing with, because we're leading evidence here, please.
Honorable Mattis, are you referring to the statement or the attachment?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. We don't know. Senior counsel, we keep asking him, please tell us, are you on the attachment? Are you on the statement? If you're on the statement, we're on paragraph what, and we're leading.
Yeah,
Because
because
it also seems that senior counsel just makes political statements here while he's leading, but it's not here in the witness statement. So I think our witness statements must guide us on leading evidence, please, and be referred. I don't think we're asking for too much, Acting Chair.
Okay,
Thank
senior counsel, can you help us with this? The statement is in paragraphs. So please guide us through the paragraphs. Which paragraph are you dealing with? So in the attachments that are attached with the statement, two are actually numbered DKB1, DKB2, DKB3, DKB4, up to 9, I think. Then there is the last document that has been just shared with us by the committee secretariat, which is the only one that has no numbering. So I think if you are referring to it, senior counsel, you can just say, for example, in the page that is written switch and save, so that we'll be able to quickly browse and look on the paragraph you are referring to, so that we're able to follow you through. Thank you, Honorable Mattis.
Thank you. It was a I don't know why I must explain a line of questioning. Where we stopped was Honorable Kohler Barnard's membership of these committees, and the questions that arose are incidental to a membership of those committees. We know we constrained and restricted Honorable Acting Chair on asking questions around the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. Related to that was a last-minute article which would ordinarily be in our exhibit bundle, which has been copied to the honourable members, and questions were asked in relation to that document. We had a problem because those pages were not paginated, and then we simply counted, and I asked for an indulgence for committee members maybe to mark the pages themselves. I think there are 12 pages, and I think we have subsequently referred to those. I haven't yet referred to any of the annexures that are part of this affidavit. And moving forward, I will certainly get into the statement and reference the paragraphs and page numbers. But I think, thank you, Honorable Acting Chair. So I think we were at the allegations made on the 6th of July, which is the basis of the terms of reference of this committee, and what was your reaction or response to the allegations of infiltration of the criminal justice system? And again, I asked that
The allegations, Senior Counsel, are contained in which paragraph?
it relates to what's in paragraph 6.
Okay. For us to follow you through properly, when you leave paragraph 6, please indicate which paragraph are you attending to.
Yeah, if I don't refer to what's in the statement, then it would be questions that arise incidentally from other parts of the statement, as I've indicated. We got stuck, as it were, on Honorable Kohler Barnard's membership of these committees. I will get in more detail to paragraph 6. I'm dealing with the terms of reference, your membership of the portfolio committee on police, and what your responses were. I think you articulated those responses. The infiltration of the criminal justice system.
Senior Counsel.
Yeah.
Matthys.
Thank you. Chair, the legal team had an opportunity to sit with the witness. So whatever they wanted to raise that is not from the terms of reference with her must be captured in here. Chair, it's lead evidence. Tell us the statement, lead the evidence. I understand asking questions in response to a response, but we've just keep going off the beaten path here. And we've been tolerating it for way too long. Statement, if a question arises from there, just do it. The senior counsel himself is just telling us, oh, I'm within the terms of reference, but it's not here in the statement. Why was that not done with the witness before we got here? We've been very tolerant. Now we're at the end and we must still be doing the same thing. No, Chair, just help us so we can move quickly and more efficiently now. Please. Long-standing member of parliament, she's also been here in the committee as well. The statement should have captured whatever the senior counsel wanted to bring to our attention. So please just help us and guide the senior counsel now. He just goes off on his sightseeing way too much.
Thank you. It is our belief, Senior Counsel, that the statement itself, having been signed, actually deals with issues that the ad hoc committee is trying to address, which are part of the terms of reference. Is that the understanding of what is happening? Is that a correct understanding of what is happening?
In the first place, I indicated this morning, I can't recall whether Honorable Matthys was present, that the statement was not drafted by us. It was drafted for or by Ms. Kohler Barnard. She's got a legal team here. I had a meeting with her yesterday to go through the statement. I had indicated to her the questions, or some of the questions certainly, that I will ask, which don't appear from the statement. So as evidence leaders, we can't own this statement like we have in the case of other witnesses, where we've spent days and hours consulting with witnesses, drafting or assisting in drafting the statement, and where we could point directly to what's in a statement. But in my respectful...
Okay, Senior Counsel, sorry, please hold on there. So you actually mean that there are parts that you would like to lead on that are not part of the statement as it was drafted by the witness, which some of them would have arisen out of a public information, some of them would have arisen on previous testimonies. I'm just trying to get on part of the issues that are not addressed in the statement, which you would like to proceed on. And if that's the case, then you must be able to brief us that on this date, so-and-so testified before the committee and said this in respect of the witness in front of us, so that we're able to get the context at which the questioning and the leading is coming from, so that we're able to follow you properly. You can proceed.
I think I have done that with respect. I referred to Brigadier or Colonel 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿𝐵. I referred to General 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢, General Khumalo, and now unless you expect us to extract exactly verbatim part of a transcript, which we only just received the other day,
Proceed.
then I make these broad allegations, and and hopefully it's not inaccurate, and it's evidence that's been before the committee. But I note the objection. I'll try and make reference to the statement as far as possible. Again, just in relation to your membership of the Police Portfolio Committee, the allegations made by General 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢 on the 6th of July, which is very, very well known, and which, as you can attest, appears in every statement that we've drafted as evidence leaders. They are recorded in the statement. It's not here because we didn't draft it. But in the terms of reference, it's foreshadowed by similar, almost identical revelations that General 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢 made on the 6th of March. So I asked you the question, what was your reaction to what he said on the 6th of July? In fact, on the 6th of July, he expressed a frustration that what I've told Parliament, what I've told the public, it doesn't seem to have landed. So I'm taking this unusual step of, almost like I know it's been criticized, but appearing almost in paramilitary style before us, and almost threatening that if nothing is done about the state of capture of the criminal justice system, then they might do something about it.
Yes, I think some people have welcomed what was done. Some people have criticized it, saying it looked as though the country was under siege or having a coup. What I heard was a very frustrated police officer who felt that he was being let down by the systems. He didn't raise, well, much of what he said was not raised by him in the portfolio committee previously, but certainly what he came out with, people were fascinated and some areas horrified. From my experience, much of what he said could be tracked down to be real and honorable and honest. Other items I was a bit cautious about and thought, I need to see proof on this or that. So I don't know what the ramifications will be of him doing what he did, whether he's seen as a whistleblower or what his status is and position. But he made them, and now we're looking into them. That's what this committee is doing.
So it is by way of background to that leads us to paragraph 6 in your statement. Are the allegations made by Lieutenant General 𝐬𝐻𝐾𝐭 directly against you, accusing you of revealing certain classified information as a result of your membership of the JSCI?
Yes.
Do you want to deal with them in paragraph 6?
I think we might as well. In 6.1, I would like to just make a small correction where he did not, in fact, during the press conference, name me specifically. I look back, he just simply said politicians. That actually came up on the 17th of September and again on the 7th of October here in this committee. I believe that he thought I was a leak out of the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence and had leaked all this information. However, the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence did not exist at that stage. It was only put together on the 1st of April. So all of this happened way before. And of course, I have no idea how the information about initially the hotel came to be in the newspapers.
Yeah. So in paragraph 7, you say that his allegations stem from some erroneous understanding of your membership of the committee.
Yes.
And that the information that you did disclose first was already in the public domain, and second, you say they relate to a period before your membership of the JSE.
Indeed.
You want to deal with the press statement on the 14th of January 2025, and then also that on 17th of February 25.
Certainly.
It appears on page 4 from paragraph 9 onwards.
Yes, initially that news report about the splurge on a luxury hotel,
That's
13th of January. That is
sorry.
point number 9.
Yeah, DKB1. Is
Yes.
that
Indeed.
the first annexure?
That was the first I'd heard of it. I think first most of South Africa had ever heard of this. As Mr. McBride pointed out, it's unknown that specific entities like this would be purchased, because if it's discovered to be part of some intelligence matters, that people can't just get up and leave and abandon the property. They now own it. So it was a very, apparently never been done before. So it was very curious, especially in the light of the fact that SAPS members are working on literally the smell of an oil rag. And Action SA came up, our colleague here came up.
And so, sorry, just before we proceed,
Certainly.
Honourable Member, the article itself is again written by 𝐬𝐻𝐿. I asked you earlier, you don't know 𝐬𝐻𝐿?
No, I've never met him.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Action SA, and kudos to them. Honourable James released a statement with reference to that article almost immediately. It took me a day or so to put mine together, and mine then came out the following day, asking questions about what on earth was going on. And I had checked with the Minister of Public Works, who said there were no such buildings under his purview. And so I then reported this to the Inspector General of Intelligence.
So just to clarify and to summarize that, DKB1 is an article which appeared
Yes.
on News 24, and you had nothing to do with
No,
with the
had no knowledge of.
disclosure. DKB2 arises from Action SA making certain demands and demanding IPID action, and DKB3 is then quotes you.
Yes,
And your questions, one is before you become a member of the Intelligence Committee, and two arises out of these articles that have now appeared before that.
absolutely. This was on the 13th of January that this article came out. The Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence was only put together on the 1st of April of that year.
Then on the the article on which is annexure 𝐷𝐾B4,
Yes.
is that still related to the initial article in 𝐷𝐾B1?
Yes.
Can you perhaps elaborate on 𝐷𝐾B4, which you do at paragraph 12 of your statement?
Yes, indeed. Having written to the Inspector General of Intelligence, I was then even more shocked to hear of another building. I asked the Inspector General to add that to the investigation I had requested. The Minister said in Parliament he had also requested an investigation from the Inspector General. Not privy to who else may have done so, asking him to investigate, because it was such an unusual and peculiar situation of expenditure for an entity that basically had never done such a thing before, for very good reasons. So yes, I asked him to investigate the matters, which he duly did.
And that request would be at 𝐷𝐾B6.
Yes.
So this is on the 12th of August.
No, that
This is on the 12th of August. Is there something?
that is an error which I have laid out. It is an error
Oh,
in the initial one sent through. It was a
It is
staff
it
problem
is, yeah,
and has been
deal with
corrected.
it
Yes.
in
Because the
paragraph
correct date
16.
is
Yeah,
the
sorry.
correct date. Yeah.
Okay. So the letter that you write in August of last year, that is now after you become a member of the
As I say, I
committee.
think this,
You became a member on the 1st of
yes,
April.
this is dated incorrectly, as I recall. _17th of February.
Oh, the letter is misdated, but
Yes,
was
it's
only sent.
misdated, and was done so by a staff member, but it definitely went through on the 17th of February.
Yeah.
2025.
Is there anything you want to highlight in?
Sorry, that I was just pointed out, that is clarified apparently in paragraph 16
Yeah.
of the affidavit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there anything in that annexure 𝐷𝐾B6 that you wish to raise or highlight?
It was only that the date was, nobody noticed when it went out that it was the wrong date.
Okay.
Which I clarify in my affidavit.
Yeah. Okay. Then is there anything else you want to highlight or mention in that section from paragraph 15 through to 21 that I may have omitted to ask you? You do conclude at paragraph 21 that there's no merit in Lieutenant General 𝐵𝐭 allegations that you
Absolutely.
obtained knowledge of the two property purchases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. It did not exist. In fact, it took a full year to be established, during which time there was no oversight by Parliament over the intelligence, three intelligence bodies. I was not a member. I was a member of the Police Portfolio Committee. And so I was speaking in that capacity because I was shocked at what was being revealed.
Your, so if we could just move on to the other section, the parliamentary questions of 5 March and 26 March. DKB 7. And these are recorded in Hansard.
Mm.
Do you want to deal with them at all? It's from
The-
paragraph 23 onwards.
Yes, the only questions I asked were about the 2 properties in the information of which was already in the public domain. So as I've asked many ministers of intelligence previously, now minister in the presidency, it's called, are asking for information and they either give an answer or they say the answer will be sent to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. And that's what he said he would do. Certainly, our colleague in MK asked a follow-up question at the time, asking why on earth they would be buying such a property at what seemed to be an exorbitant price in relation to what its real value was.
And then at DKB 8, you deal with the question you posed on the 26th of March, 2025.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
DKB 8. And that was the question, yes. Sorry, in DKB 8.
Did you not have an opportunity of raising these questions in the police committee instead of taking it to the media?
Well, I took it to Parliament
Yeah.
in oral question time, where you specifically put questions to any of the ministers and they answer you in the House, in the chamber. So that's what this was. One also has the option of writing questions, but this happened to be oral question time. So they answer immediately.
Okay. Then you made some concluding remarks at paragraph 26 and you attach DKB 9, a media statement that you issued. You want
Yes.
to discuss that?
Certainly. I believe that his theory was that centered around the fact that he believed I was a member of the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. And once I corrected that erroneous belief, I felt he owed me an apology because you can't leak out of a committee that doesn't exist. So I was not happy that I'd been labeled basically a criminal, when in fact I believed I was doing my job that every MP has to do, which is oversight, an oversight role. That's the biggest role that we play, is doing oversight over the entities we work on, the committees we work in. It's our job.
Did you hear at all from General 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐤𝐻?
No, he has my phone number. He didn't, he could have asked me beforehand. He chose not to. So yeah, we do have something of a history, but he had no intention, I think, of ever discussing it with me.
He hasn't appeared, he appeared before us
Yes.
here in this honorable committee. But in the police committee itself? Has he appeared since? Where you could have raised this with him?
Not that I'm aware of, but certainly when he came before this committee, the allegations were toned down somewhat. There were no longer allegations I was part of a criminal syndicate or that sort, or broken the law, which would have been leaking out of the committee. But he was still markedly furious, and you could see he was saying that all MPs had everyone in the room, I don't know who all that included, had their devices monitored by crime intelligence, made many claims, but I knew I had not ever leaked out of a committee that did not exist.
Okay. Then you in your conclusion at on page 9, paragraph 29, you state that you've never seen classified documents outside the JSCI. And as you mentioned at the outset, these documents are carefully curated and never leave the room of the meetings where these committee meetings take place.
They absolutely are. They're numbered. You go in with a pen, maybe, you leave with a pen. Nothing goes out of any of the JSCI meetings. And I was shocked to hear that Honorable Adams had in his hand classified documents. I can't begin to imagine how he got hold of them, but we all know what he did with them.
We just, as regards Honorable Adams, we have extended an invitation to him to consult with us, to perhaps appear here today after you gave evidence, but I believe he's been involved in the by-election, some party work. We'll definitely raise that with him. Do you want to make any closing or concluding remarks before I?
Certainly, I just want to reiterate, I could not and would not in any case leak out of a closed committee such as the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. It did not exist at that time. I was a member of the Police Portfolio Committee, which I thought I would stay on full-time, and only at the last minute was told, no, I'll be going to the Joint Standing Committee as well. And I've always endeavored to do the best that I can here in Parliament. I've treated every head of every division, every National Police Commissioner in exactly the same way. I was as tough on the 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐿𝐫𝐷s or the 𝐽𝐼𝐺𝐸𝐵𝐺𝐻s or any of the others, and certainly the 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻 and co. I was always the person who would raise possibility of corruption, and that's what I have continued to do.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honourable Member Kohler Barnard. Thank you, Honourable Chair, Honourable Members. That concludes the leading of Ms. Kohler Barnard's evidence. Thank you.